So the final part of transformations is just describing a transformation, and this video is going to have mixed questions. So it could be any of the four transformations that we've looked at, and we need to be careful that we describe the transformations using all of the information that's required. So for example, if you're describing a enlargement, you need to talk about the scale factor, you need to talk about the center of enlargement, and you need to talk about which shape is the original shape and which shape is the enlargement. And the same goes, so for example, for rotation, you need to talk about the center of rotation, the degrees, and whether it's clockwise or anti-clockwise. In the case of reflections, we need to talk about the mirror line, what's the equation of the mirror line. And then for translations, we just need to state the vector. So translations are perhaps the easiest ones to talk about. And speaking of which, the first example here, the thing to watch out for all of these questions is where are you starting from and where are you going. So in this case, we're going from A to B. If you do B to A, you're going to get a different answer in the case of a transformation. And in this first translation, you can see to get from A to B, you just pick up vertices, find the corresponding one, and then you just focus on that. So we're going from A to B, so we go across, so 2 left in the x, so it's -2 in the x direction and -3 in the y direction. So this is a translation with the vector -2, -3, and it has to be written as a vector like that. Okay, second example, describe the single transformation. So we can see the orientation is different here and it looks like it's been reflected. So we need to find the line of reflection. Now you can probably do this without doing much working out, but I'll show you the method that's important in case you get a trickier question. You want to go from A to B, so you can just draw a line that connects the corresponding vertices, so it has to be the corresponding part of the other shape, and then you just go halfway along the line. So in this case we can see we're going 6 units across, so that's halfway along, and this is 4 units across, so we're going to go there, it's halfway. So the mirror line is going to be this here, and we can see the equation of this blue line. What is the equation? Hopefully you've worked out the equation is that x is equal to -1. So shape A is reflected on the line x equals -1. Okay, next example. We're going from A to B. Now this is a bit tricky to show on a computer here, but what you would do is use tracing paper to work out the rotation that's happened. Now we can see that we're rotating by 180 degrees, so we're not going to have to say whether it's clockwise or anti-clockwise, but the center of rotation, I would guess, a sensible first guess would be 0, 0, so it's about the origin. So I'm just going to show you the solution here. It's something that you should try yourself on your sheet or copy the shape out, and you can see I happen to be right here because it's fairly straightforward. Some of these questions are a lot harder though to find the center of rotation, so you use a bit of trial and error to work out what it is using some tracing paper. So we can say 180 degrees about the origin, or you can say about 0, 0. Okay, next example, describe the single transformation from A to B. So this is also going to be a reflection, so we're just going to draw the reflection lines here from A to B, and halfway, again this one is fairly straightforward, it's just going to be on the axis, so it's on the x-axis. The equation of the x-axis is not x equals 0, it's y equals 0, so this shape has been reflected on the x-axis where y is equal to 0. Now next example, what we can see here, this is an enlargement. If we're going from A to B again, so what we need to do is draw our ray lines connecting the corresponding points together, and hopefully we can figure out where they meet. So it's looking like it's going to be 1, 8, We just do the third point just to make sure, and we can see that does indeed work. So that's the center of enlargement, 1/8. We know that the new shape is twice as big because that length, side length 2 becomes 4, so it's scale factor 2, and that's all the information that we need to state. So an enlargement by scale factor 2 with a center of enlargement 1/8. Okay, final example in this part here. Describe the transformation from A to B. So it looks like it hasn't been enlarged, it hasn't been rotated or reflected, it's just been translated. It's moved from A to B. So find the corresponding vertices and then figure out, okay, well, we're going 1 unit to the left and 4 units up. So it's going to be -1 over 4 is your vector. Right, so the next video is just going to be a bit more practice on some of these questions. If you followed all of this, you're welcome to finish off the rest of the worksheet. In fact, you are just going to do the rest of the worksheet. Otherwise, if you're still not sure, the next video will have some optional review of the following questions.